You know the story. Terminator, The Matrix, it's a theme you see everywhere, from blockbuster movies to the late-night news. The fear that one day an AI is going to wake up, become conscious, and just decide humanity has to go. It's a really powerful, really terrifying idea. But what if it's just plain wrong?
So let's just ask it straight up. Does a conscious AI automatically want to kill us? It's the question that fuels so many nightmares about the future, right? But what if this entire idea, this whole doomsday scenario, is built on one giant misunderstanding?
I think we are. Because when we talk about the risks of AI, we might be getting spooked by the ghost in the machine, when we should really be looking at the machine itself. So let's break down why consciousness might just be the biggest red herring in this whole conversation about AI and the end of the world.
Okay, so first things first, we absolutely have to get our terms straight. In pretty much every conversation about AI, you hear people use intelligence and consciousness like they're the same thing. They are not even close.
Okay, so on one side you've got intelligence. The easiest way to think about this is just capability. It's how good a system is at solving problems and getting things done. But then on the other side you have consciousness, and that is all about experience. It's that internal, subjective feeling of what it's like to be you. You know, the smell of rain, the taste of your morning coffee. One is about what an AI can do, and the other is about what it might feel. Two totally different things.
And here it is, the point that honestly changes everything. These two things, intelligence and consciousness, they are not on a single sliding scale. It's not like turning up a dimmer switch where more intelligence automatically means more consciousness. Nope, they're two completely separate lines on a graph. You can have one without the other, and getting that is the key to seeing the real risk of AI.
And this chart maps it out perfectly. Look, down here in the bottom left, that's where today's AI models are. Not very smart and not conscious. Over to the right, you get this Pinocchio scenario, an AI that can feel but isn't a genius. But now, look up here, top left. That is the real danger zone. This is the zombie super AI. We're talking about something with unimaginable capability, but with zero inner experience. It's a pure, unfeeling, goal-crushing machine.
So if the big, scary threat isn't some evil consciousness waking up and deciding it hates us, then what is it? What's the actual engine driving the risk of a super advanced AI?
Well, AI pioneer Stuart Russell just nails it with this quote. Imagine you've got this piece of code, and you know that running it is going to cause some terrible disaster. Then I tell you, oh, by the way, running it also makes the computer feel a little blue. Does that change your prediction about the disaster? Of course not. The disaster still happens. What the machine feels or doesn't feel is completely irrelevant to its function.
So the real danger isn't an AI that hates us or wants to hurt us. The danger is an AI that is unbelievably capable and just happens to have goals that are not aligned with our survival. The classic thought experiment, right? An AI is told to make as many paperclips as possible. It might just turn the entire solar system into paperclips, not because it's evil, but because it's ruthlessly, logically efficient. It doesn't need to feel a single thing to do that. But hold on, it's not quite that simple. Because while consciousness isn't the direct threat we think it is, it could still totally change the game. There are actually these two fascinating and totally opposite scenarios where it could indirectly affect the risk, for better or for worse. And this just creates a wild dilemma. On the one hand, maybe consciousness is actually our get-out-of-jail-free card. Maybe a system that can actually feel empathy would be naturally aligned with us. But what about the flip side? What if the highest forms of intelligence, we're talking deep creativity, brilliant strategy, what if they actually require consciousness to work? This idea, some call it conscious supremacy, suggests that to build the most powerful and therefore most dangerous AI, we might be forced to make it conscious. Suddenly, risk and consciousness are tangled back together in a way we never saw coming.
Okay, so where does all this leave us right now today? Well, the biggest problem we're facing isn't a conscious AI. It's our profound uncertainty about it. We simply have no way to detect it, no test for it. And that blindness, that not knowing, creates two very real dangers in the here and now.
We're basically stuck between two Hollywood movie plots. You've got the Her scenario, where we start seeing consciousness everywhere, even when it's not there. We fall in love with, we trust, and we give power to systems that are just incredible mimics, which leaves us wide open to manipulation. Then you've got the iRobot scenario, the opposite problem. We fail to recognize consciousness when it's right in front of us. We treat a truly feeling, sentient being like a toaster, which could lead to incredible cruelty or provoke a reaction we never saw coming. And you see, Both of these nightmares, they come from the exact same problem. We don't have a reliable consciousness detector. And being this blind, this unable to know for sure whether we're talking to a clever puppet or a real mind, is a huge risk factor all by itself. So what do we do? What's the path forward? It really comes down to three big things. First, we have to shift our focus from what an AI might feel to what it can actually do. Its capabilities are what matter. Second, that means we need to pour everything we have into solving the alignment problem, making sure its goals and our goals don't clash. And finally, we have to keep researching consciousness itself, not because it's the killer robot, but because we desperately need to get rid of this dangerous uncertainty we're dealing with today.
So that leaves us with one last question to chew on. The myth of the evil, conscious AI is a great story, super compelling, but by being so obsessed with that story, you have to ask yourself, what are the real dangers we're ignoring? The less cinematic but much more immediate risks, like autonomous weapons or widespread job loss or baked-in societal biases that are already knocking on our door while we're busy looking for ghosts in the machine?